Hi guys, I'm Andy and welcome back to Backpacking UK. If hiking, backpacking and wild camping are your thing, please hit that subscribe button because that's what this channel's all about. Right, today we're talking about what people hate about wild camping and why it doesn't bother me. It sounds ridiculous, but personally I think it's all in your head, bit of preparation and good buying choices. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through with the most popular things people dislike about wild camping, and I'm going to address each one. So one of the first things people dislike about camping is condensation. So many people get really hung up on this, and I don't really understand why. Now, if you're backpacking in a 1 or a 2 person tent, you've got to expect some condensation. However, if you take a little sponge like this, and this must weigh about 10 grams, it doesn't weigh anything at all, you can roll it up really small, just wipe down the inside of your tent when you wake up in the morning, and that's half the job done. If you open your tent up, you're likely to get your tent nice and dry, ready to pack away. Other things you can do to help condensation is, if your tent has vents, open them up. If it's a 4-season tent which is susceptible to condensation, all I would say is, where the fly comes down to a floor, put something in between the fly and the ground, like a rock, or you might have like something that you've brought with you that you can just wedge it open and let some airflow through your tent. Now, the next thing people quite often don't like about wild camping is when it's cold. Now, this is just preparation. One, you need the right gear for a start, so if you can, get something like a down jacket. You really need a good sleeping bag and a good insulated sleeping mat. If you're one of those people that feel the cold, do something about it. Get the right gear, and I promise you, your experience will dramatically change and your enjoyment will go through the roof. Now, the next one, which is also a big thing that people hate about camping, is the rain. Now, I'd say 2 things here. One, get yourself some waterproofs, waterproof top with a really good peak on it so you can keep your hood up all day and the rain's not going to get in your eyes, and good waterproof trousers and of course waterproof boots. Now, pretty much 99% of tents are waterproof, so you're absolutely safe there. But all I'd say is, if it's raining a lot, have your waterproofs on, don't take them off. Now, next thing about camping in the rain is listen to it, enjoy it. I find it really relaxing myself. I love the little pitter patter of rain on your tent. Just makes you feel outside, it makes you feel part of nature. Now, one of the things people don't like about backpacking is packing your backpack. Now, I don't get this myself. I get really excited. I love getting all my gear out. Right, what am I going to use for this trip? I absolutely love it. I don't see it as a chore. When you get home, I personally take a lot of pride in all my gear. So I love going through what I have and haven't used, make mental notes, what worked and what didn't, so I can improve it for next time. But I personally, that's part of backpacking. It's the excitement of getting ready for your adventures. Now, next thing people often don't like about wild camping is the cost. Now, as a hobby, camping must be one of the cheapest hobbies you can get. Yes, you can spend £1,000 on a Hilleberg tent, but you can also spend 30 quid on a tent. How much you spend is entirely up to you. And to be honest, if you've got all budget gear or really cheap gear, you can have just as good a time as somebody that spent 5 grand on at the absolute top of everything. But I don't ever want people to feel pressured that they have to have big brands, big expensive kit. You just don't have to. It's a luxury. Now, one of the biggest things people hate about camping and wild camping is sleep. Now, I did a separate sleep video to this, so check that out. But basically, eye mask, earplugs, make sure your tent is fully set up before you go to bed. Make sure you're set up, that you've got the right gear that you need. Hopefully you've got a decent sleeping mat and sleeping bag and a pillow, but if you need base layers on or more than that, make sure you get yourself set up before you go to sleep so you don't get woken up in the night. Now, one of the things that people don't like when they're wild camping is insects, and I personally don't. But if you're one of those people like me that don't like the insects, make sure you've got insect repellent on. Make sure you take it with you. I've also got a flex tail gear mosquito repellent. It's got little pouches on there that warm up, and so far I've used it once and it does actually work. So it just stops the mosquitoes from getting around you, but you can also get like anti-tick sprays that you can spray on your clothing. You can also get creams too. But the biggest thing is, when you're not using your tent, zip it up and make sure at least the mesh is there to stop the insects from getting in your tent. Now, one thing that people don't like about wild camping is having to go for a poo. Now, I've been doing tactical poos for years now. I do lots of sporting events. I'll do like long hikes, runs, cycles, just all of those events. You just learn that you have to go for a tactical poo. So I rarely need to go to the toilet when I'm out wild camping. So if you don't do that, give it a try, and I promise you'll be amazed. It's a game changer. Now, one thing that people dislike about wild camping is quite often you've got big heavy backpack on, it's putting a lot of strain on all your joints. Now, you can do something about that. They're called trekking poles. Give them a go if you haven't already. I think I've got a link to a couple of pairs that I've got that are cheap. Obviously, if you really want to get the best trekking poles, get some Lecky poles, because they're like the world leader. But start off, if you haven't already, with some cheap trekking poles and make a huge difference. And while we're talking about comfort, blisters. People hate blisters. Now just get yourself some decent socks. Darn tough socks or 1,000-mile socks will be an absolute game changer. But never ever wear brand new hiking boots on a big hike. Like, wear them around the house, go down the shops in your hiking boots. Doesn't matter what you look like, you've got to wear them in before you go out for a long hike. And going back to the cold, when you're hiking, one thing to do is layer up. Remember, it's all about layers. It's about trapping that warm air to stop it from escaping. The only way to do that is layers. It also means you can properly regulate your temperature of your body. You can take layers on if you want, just to get that right. But if you master the layering system, most people use 3 layers, but you can use 4 if you're a really cold person. But get the right kit and your enjoyment will go through the roof. Now, this video is obviously what people hate about camping and why it doesn't bother me. But the main thing to do, you've got to get your mindset right. So I've got a hectic life, I've got a busy work life, I've got a busy family life too. So if I've got a date in the diary when I'm going further afield, it's rare that happens. You know, I might get out like once every 3 or 4 weeks or something like that when I'm going further afield. But whatever that weather is what I'm going out in. I haven't got the luxury to go out wild camping on nice sunny days, blue skies, lovely sunrises, lovely sunsets, all that. It is what it is. Now, my enjoyment is because I manage my expectations of that, and you should too, really. And end of the day, you're not at work, you're not at home. It's an opportunity to get out there in our great national parks and have a brilliant time. And I'm telling you, when you're there, when you're out in that fresh air, especially if you're summit camping, it's absolutely amazing. And sleep, yeah, I'm not the best sleeper in the world, which is what a lot of people don't like about camping, but it doesn't really bother me, because you open that tent door in the morning, look out, and it's just amazing. It doesn't have to be blue sky and sunshine, it's just amazing. So work on your mindset, be positive, and stop trying to seek camping perfection, because if that's what you're trying to do, I'm sorry, but it's highly likely that's not going to happen. It's just the world that we live in, and the national parks, especially with their changeable weather, it's hard to get that perfect day. But hopefully this has made you think about the positive aspects of turning like what some people perceive as negative into a positive. But hopefully you got something out of this video. Please check out my other videos, and hope to see you camping soon. Cheers.